Hey guys, it's Mystery Wheel Gunner again, back with you, here with another revolver overview, this time on the 629 Stealth Hunter. Now, I originally started this channel with actually a rant on this particular gun. I bought it new, and it came out of the box with a manufacturing defect, so I did a video just to vent my frustrations. For those of you who haven't seen that original video, I'll put a link in the description below. I also did an update on the repair, and I'll put that link in the description below as well. Anyway, I never did a proper overview of the gun after it came back from repair, so this is what this video is going to be about. Okay, let me quickly detail what does not come with the gun. It does not come with the Vortex Venom, and it does not come with the Hogue Tammer grip. Okay, the Tammer has the covered back strap with the squishy recoil absorbing gel here. The gun does come with the familiar Hogue mono grip. It's a good grip. Do you really need the Tammer on this gun or any other 44 Magnum? That's debatable. Okay, 44 Magnum does have some kick, but it's not a brutal cartridge to shoot. But anyway, I like the way the Tammers feel, and they don't cost a whole lot. So I went ahead and got the Tammers. Now a little side note on the Hogue Tammer. There are two versions out there. In terms of build and functionality, they are the same. They're actually both made by Hogue. One is on the Smith & Wesson website. The other is on the Hogue website. What's the difference? The one on the Smith & Wesson website costs more, and it has the Smith & Wesson logo on it. The one on the Hogue website costs less, and it has the Hogue logo on it. So it's going to be up to you to decide whether or not the Smith & Wesson logo is worth the upcharge. I happened to get the Smith & Wesson version because that was the only one available at the time. For a while there, Smith & Wesson was the only store that you could go to get the Tammer, but apparently that exclusivity has expired. In my opinion, just get the cheaper one off the Hogue website, because the Smith & Wesson logo is not very prominent. Okay, it's just an embossed logo, so it's the exact same color as the rest of the grip. It really doesn't stand out. If the logo was a medallion, okay, if it was an inset medallion, I might recommend that just because it would look kind of cool, but it's not. It's not an inset medallion. It's again, the logo is just embossed on there. Okay, but on to the actual revolver itself. It has a red ramp front sight, which is dovetailed in, a fully click adjustable rear sight, adjustable for windage and elevation. It's the standard Smith & Wesson adjustable sight that's on many of their revolvers. The barrel also has an integrated rail. It is unfortunately that strange, what I call the Smith-a-Tinny rail. It's got 3 slots, so it's not a standard style weaver. Obviously, certainly not a Picatinny. I don't know why Smith continues to do this. On some of their guns have, a standard looking weaver or a full pick rail, but for some reason on some of their guns they go with this weird Smith-a-Tinny rail. Now it works. Okay, you obviously have enough mounting options, and if you're just putting a red dot on here, these options are enough. But if you were to mount a scope on here, or if I were to mount a scope on here, I would like a few more slots, just so I would have more options as to where to put the rings and where to position the optic. Just a little knock on here. Again, it is functional with the Smith-a-Tinny, but I would rather see a full pick rail. Anyway, moving on. Before I look at the muzzle end, before I play with the muzzle end again, we are obviously empty. Okay. So over at the muzzle, it is ported. Okay. Right there. 2 ports. And it does help. It does help quite a bit. Now in the shooting portion of the video a bit later on, you'll see it's got quite a bit of muzzle flip, but again, I usually use kind of a relaxed target grip when I'm holding the gun. I hold it firmly, but I don't hold it super tight, so the muzzle flip is exaggerated when I'm shooting it. But you know, even with the exaggerated muzzle flip from my more relaxed grip, those ports really do tame that recoil quite a bit. So the porting plus the tamer grip, this has got to be one of the softer shooting 44 Magnum revolvers out there. Really well done. Okay, it is a 629 Stealth Hunter. So yes, it is part of the 629 family. So it is a stainless steel gun. The finish on here is a PVD finish. I actually wasn't sure what it was, and unfortunately, Smith & Wesson's website is really sparse on details. So I called Smith & Wesson up and talked to a rep, and according to the rep, it is a PVD coating on top of a stainless steel gun. Now, from what I understand, PVD is actually pretty tough. It's at least as tough as, and from what I read, actually even tougher than Cerakote. So if you've got a pretty tough coating here on this gun, on top of on top of stainless steel. So this is about as weatherproof as you can get, because even if you manage to scratch the PVD coating, well, underneath is stainless. So putting scratches on this gun would only be a cosmetic concern. It does not deter. It is no scratches are a detriment to the gun's corrosion resistance. Now, on many performance center guns, you will get a chromed hammer and a chromed trigger. Not on this one. As you can see, the hammer and trigger are color case hardened, okay, or the color of being color case hardened. I think this was a really good decision by Smith & Wesson, because imagine if this had the chrome trigger and hammer, it it would look kind of tacky with this color scheme, don't you think? I mean, it's the Stealth Hunter. And yes, I know the irony's not lost on me. Stealth Hunter with porting, that's a loud gun. So I get it. Okay. But as far as the aesthetics of the gun, okay, I like the stealthed out look. It's all black. The PVD coating gives it kind of a satin type finish as well, or maybe like a notch or two below semi gloss. Okay, it's not super shiny, but it's not super dull either, to be honest. Okay, but of course it depends on what you wipe it down with. Wipe it down with a silicone cloth, and it probably will look a little bit shinier. But anyway, it's kind of in between. Not quite a matte finish, but not quite gloss. Okay, like I said, kind of like a semi-gloss finish. Anywho, I like their decision to go with the color case hardening on the trigger and on the hammer. Really gives it that nice, that blacked out aesthetic. The barrel is 7.5 inches in length, and like I said before, it's ported. I like the design of the barrel as well. I've heard someone comment it kind of looks like a Taurus gun, and if we're gonna be honest, it kind of does. Okay, I've had some people comment like, "Oh man, George, you go to Taurus? I thought you were a Smith & Wesson fanboy. Did you buy a Taurus?" Like, it's like, no, it's a Smith. It's a performance center. It's like, oh man, it kind of looked like the Taurus. So, I mean, nothing wrong with that. Okay, I'm not trying to bash on Taurus. Okay, to be fair, I've never owned a Taurus, so I don't know how good, bad they are. I just always liked Smith & Wessons. Anywho, looking like a Taurus ain't really a bad thing. I do think the Raging Bull is a good-looking gun. And that new one, the Raging Hunter, also looks pretty cool. So I do like the design aesthetics of it. Okay, even if they were, I guess kind of copying off of Taurus in a way. Okay, trigger snobbery time, because I am a trigger snob. Okay, empty, of course. We're going to play with the trigger. Really smooth. Okay, when you cock that hammer back, Wow. Really smooth internals. It is a performance center gun, so yeah, you get the whatever. I'm not a gunsmith, so I don't know what they do. I'm assuming they're honing some surfaces, okay, tweaking the springs. I don't know. Whatever they're doing. Wow, it's really, when you cock that hammer, it just feels nice. Obviously, the single action trigger. Wow, it's one of those. I mean, I don't mean to imply that it's a hair trigger, because hair trigger, the negative connotation with a hair trigger is that, oh man, it's unstable. It's not unstable. You can knock the gun around. It's not going to go off. You do need deliberate finger pressure, but wow, it does not take a whole lot. Double action. Let me move the camera here so I have more room. Pretty smooth. I mean, it's a hunting gun. Remember that, okay? So this is not supposed to be a competition gun. That being said, wow, it feels like a competition trigger. Very smooth, okay, and surprisingly light for what it is. Again, it's a hunting gun. But man, it's a lot lighter than you would expect, okay? This compared to the 629 competitor, I'll put the triggers about the same. Okay, so yes, this hunting gun got the same TLC as the trigger on the competition gun. I think that's pretty cool. Okay, came upon some extra information while wrapping up this video. It turns out that there are two versions of the Stealth Hunter, both from the Performance Center. The one that I have and the one that's in this video is actually the second version, which was introduced in 2009. The first version was introduced in 2000 and had a different color scheme. It had a green frame and a green barrel. Actually, it's described as having a birdsong NATO green. The cylinder on the original version retained the flat black color, but the cylinder is unfluted. So that's pretty interesting. Anyway, back to your regularly scheduled programming. Alright, time to do some accuracy testing with a custom hand load using the Hornady 240 grain XTP bullet. I have a chronode muzzle velocity of 1,282 feet per second, resulting in 876 foot-pounds of energy. I'll be shooting from a rest using the Vortex Venom as my optic, and the distance to target is 50 yards. Time to measure that first string. .618. All right, time to measure the second group. .363, so actually a little bit better the second time around. Both groups are very good, and the revolver very consistent. And there you have it, the overview of the 629 Stealth Hunter from Smith & Wesson. Hope you enjoyed watching. Catch you guys next time.